because stock of the day, I've got so many questions to put to you too. Tabcorp. It's confirmed this morning the lotteries and Keno business will be spun out into a standalone company by May 24th, when the listing of the brand new lottery company hits the bourse. Shares getting a small boost from the news today. One of our regular guests here on the call, so it's up almost 3%, not too bad today. One of our regular guests on the call, Gaurav Sodhi, has been waiting for this to be announced for a while and says the lotteries and Keno business is the real money maker. So is it time to buy Tabcorp, or should you hold out for the new listing, or get shares as in the new listing as part of an existing shareholder in Tabcorp? Chris Conway, first to you. What do you think of the announcement? Everyone's known it's been coming. They've talked about it for a while. Now it's here. We've got a date. What do you do, number one, as an existing Tabcorp shareholder? Number two, should you get into it if you're not into it?
If you're an existing shareholder, Koshi, I think you would hold. And if you were looking to get into it, then I would probably buy it now. So you're not wrong. It was announced in the middle of last year that this demerger was going to take place. So now it's confirmed. And the basic premise is that the sum of the parts is greater than the current whole. So they'll separate out the two. And the marketing spin, which I actually agree with, is it allows both businesses to have a more focused strategy and in particular pursue M&A activity. So you're right about the lotteries division being the bigger revenue generator, but it's really the other side of the business, the wagering the business, that could be looking at mergers and acquisitions. So we know that Rupert Murdoch is thinking about getting some form of Fox betting off the ground, for lack of a better name for it. And we know that sports wagering business around the world is becoming ever more competitive. And so that is potentially the opportunity in terms of putting that side of the business into play. And seeing if it either can be merged with a bigger entity, an international equity entity, or indeed it can be sold off for a premium. So I like the move. If you are interested in owning Tabcorp, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't buy it now, because you get the benefit of both. And certainly if you're a holding, I would continue to hold it as well, because it will probably be an unlocking of value or value release.
Yeah, is it a bit similar like when Woolworths split off Endeavour? We had a big jump into Woolworths shares as everyone said, okay, I want to be part of Endeavour, and the best way to do that is to get into Woolies now.
Yeah, that's a very good comparison, Koshi. Spot on. Again, the sum of the parts together is they're neither of them are benefiting from being rammed together. So separate the two out, get that value release, and really pursue their own strategies. Yeah, spot on.
Okay. Gary, what about you?
Yeah, pretty similar to view to Chris there. I mean, normally these sort of demergers there usually unlocks value. So you've got the big sort of enterprise there. Once it gets broken into two, there's usually kind of a value add in that sort of split. And we've seen some of those. So you talk about Woolworths and stuff and Endeavour, but there's been quite a few over the last sort of decade or two where you have seen that extraction of value. So I mean, like I think it looks pretty good. I mean, the price action, actually, if you look at the chart there for obviously post that sort of 2020 low, it's had a really good recovery, and then it's been really trading in a pretty tight band. So really sitting between around sort of 540 to sort of 480. And now, so oftentimes when a stock sort of maybe rallies hard, then trades sort of in a sideways manner, and then sort of pops through the top, that's sort of technically a bit of a bullish sign as well. So I think this news comes at a good time, extraction of value, obviously, price pushing through the top here. So, yeah, I think it looks pretty positive. Probably the interesting thing for me is what does this mean for Jumbo? Is Jumbo Interactive?
I was thinking that too.
Is a competitor in the space, but Tabcorp got a 10-year agreement in place with Jumbo. So, is this a negative for Jumbo in that obviously more competition, or potentially is Jumbo a target now? Is this sort of, would Tabcorp or the new TLC, does TLC look at, maybe rolling Jumbo in there? So yeah, it's interesting. So it opens up a lot of questions there for the whole sector.
Yeah. I've got Jumbo in my little superannuation fund that's done pretty well.
Great business.
Last year or two, really good business. It's more than It's sort of a software business rather than a gaming business, isn't it? It just happens to be software into gaming. So do we know, if you're a Tabcorp shareholder yet, how much of the new company you'll get, what the crossover is for shares? Either of you?
I didn't see this. Yeah, I didn't see the
think
split
it's.
actually. So
I think you get one share per unit that you hold. So I think it's a one for one from memory, from what I've read. I
Okay.
believe. Yeah.
All right. That's interesting because, as Chris was saying, all the reports today is once it's spun out, the existing company, then I think even the directors have been highlighting it. It's clearer for merger and acquisition sometime in the future. So that's what you're buying into. Fascinating time.